What did you say when you first met Stephen King?
I don't remember. That's the thing. I was all pumped. Somebody has it on tape. Warner Brothers filmed it, which was also making me feel really weird.
Oh God.
But I remember him coming through the door, and then I kind of black out for a while. And then I remember being in the movie theater with him, which was probably about a half hour later. But I'm sure I just kind of tripped over myself and maybe said, I have this habit I'm learning where I meet, when I get starstruck, I say the person's name to them, which is a really like bizarre thing that I just am realizing I do.
Quentin Tarantino, how are you?
I don't even put a question onto it. I just say their own name.
Hey, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Not even a hey. That's still a sentence.
Quentin
I just
Tarantino.
go Quentin Tarantino, and then nothing. As though I'm waiting for, I'm narrating this to someone else.
That's humble. That's sweet.
Yeah.
That's like what we need more of in life. It's like that moment where you're a little kid where you're like, I'm excited. I don't get excited that much. So when I meet somebody that's one of my, it's nice. It's nice. I think you inadvertently do it. And hopefully you think people look at you and go, that's cool. He likes me.
I hope so. I felt like I was getting better at it for a while. And then I was on a plane a couple weeks ago, and Kurt Russell was on the plane, and I just lost it. It was
Fucking
over.
Kurt Russell, The Thing. Talk about a great horror movie.
Yeah.
One of the best of all time.
That's one of the things I've got in my little nerd room that I'm really proud of. I've got this it's a great, like, one of a kind.
Don't say it's a spider
statue. Oh no, I would love this.
Wouldn't that be great?
Spider head would be amazing.
Ooh.
But yeah, I'm God damn, that movie's perfect. But,
it really is.
Yeah. That one holds up.
John Carpenter went to my college, Western Kentucky University. And the fog, when he's talking about the fog, me bragging and name dropping immediately.
No, that's okay. We can do this. I'm gonna. Yeah, Dude, we can do it all day.
He says, like, the fog is moving towards State Street or whatever. He starts naming streets. That's in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's not
that's
that cool, but it's cool to me.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you just said Stephen King half an hour later he was watching. Are you saying you didn't meet Stephen King till after the movie was made?
Yeah,
What?
Yeah, the first time I met Steve was when I brought him Steve. I
now
can say
it's Steve.
I'm allowed. He made it clear that he was sick of me just looking at him and saying the words Stephen King. So he said, please just call me Steve. But the first time I met him is when I brought him Dr. Sleep, and I screened the movie for him.
And he loved it.
He did love it.
You love The Shining, the movie.
Yes.
In so many ways. You love. Now, I would think that someone who loved the movie, Stephen, would have a problem with directing the sequel to The Shining, considering that he didn't have a good relationship with Kubrick, considering that his screenplay or the book was nothing like the movie. So you think that would be Stephen King's, or as you know him, Steve, would just look at you and say, let me ask you a question. Did you like The Shining? Yep. Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Yeah, it was quite a conversation, and I was so freaked out about it. It wouldn't have happened except he loved Gerald's Game. And
who doesn't love Gerald? If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix still, right?
It is, yes.
Gerald's
Forever,
Game. What
actually,
a surprise, because you don't think that movie's going to... Yeah, well, go ahead with the Stephen King story. We'll get into Gerald's Game.
So he was happy enough with that when Warner Brothers had said, hey, Flanagan might want to do Dr. Sleep, he was like, great. But he didn't know what I wanted to do with it, which was kind of folded into the Kubrick universe. Because, in the book, like you said, it's so different. The Overlook burned down, Dick Halloran's alive, everything's different. And so I had to get in touch with him and say, hey, before we proceed on this, before you endorse it, I just need your blessing on something you might not like. And his initial reaction was like, no, I don't like that. But
what was it? You can't tell really, because
yeah,
I haven't seen it. I don't want you to tell too much anyway.
I can tell a little bit at this point. It's out tonight.
But I haven't even watched the trailer purposely.
Oh, wow.
Because I don't watch trailers because there's something I'm not excited about. I want to be surprised by everything.
All right, then I'm going to be really careful. I'll be really careful. Yeah. So I pitched him a scene. You'll know which one when you see the film. And I said, what I want to do, for me, the only difference I would make to the Dr. Sleep novel is the location of the third act. And for me, I thought that would be awesome to stage in the abandoned Overlook Hotel of Kubrick's world. And he had a lot of questions about how that could work. He wasn't really keen on it, but I pitched him one scene. And
he wasn't king on it.
And the pitch went over, and he said, okay, do that. Proceed, but let me read it. So then it was about the script, and I sent the script, and I freaked out. And he came back and said, look, I actually really like this.
Really?
Yeah.
So you had really one shot.
Yeah.
So you had the nail. You had how many people read this before you said, "Okay, I'm going to give it to Steven"?
2. My producer Trevor Macy, who's produced everything I've done
Oculus,
since Oculus.
everything,
Yeah.
right.
So Trevor read it, and my wife read it, and then I sent it off to King, and then
How long before he responded?
almost 2 weeks.
Fucking
Yeah.
dude.
Well,
fucking.
I know.
Fucking.
It was and he had written about a day after he had received it. He's like, "Look, I'm halfway through it, and I love this so far, but my son Joe's getting married, so I got to go do that. Might be a minute before I get back to you." And everything he was going to hate was in the back half. So I was like, "Oh shit!" So I sweat bullets on that for a while, but he came back. He loved it. By then, I'd given it to Warner Brothers, and they'd kind of all decided to do the movie. And when he finally came back and kind of was like, "Yes, you have my blessing to do this draft,"
Right.
he qualified it by saying, "Look, I really love this, and I think it's so good. In my experience, this is not the kind of movie a big studio will make." And I got to say right back, like, "So funny you say that. They greenlit it this morning off the same draft you read." And then
Well,
we're off.
how about that?
Yeah, but if he hadn't had signed off on what we wanted to do, I wouldn't have made the film.